Hello everyone, I'm Kayla, the maker and creator behind Crochet by Kayla, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be 10 tips for your first craft show or even your first few craft shows when you still completely don't know what to do for your setup that's best, what to do for products that's best, all that stuff. So I have a full list of them all right here, and we're gonna get to them. Okay, I do want to say before we start the video, everyone does have different craft show experiences. So these are just things that have helped me and have made my craft shows better, and things that I do that are working for me in my craft shows. Or you could already have done your first market and you could have already done like all of these things and you're killing the game. So yeah, so let's get started. So the first tip I have for you is give yourself enough time to prep. You need enough time to make all the products you want to make. Some people may have to give themselves a lot of time because not everyone just has all day to crochet. And some people only crochet every once in a while, but they still want to do a market. Give yourself as much time as you need. Some people I've seen, they can make enough market prep in like 3 weeks, which is absolutely amazing. I usually have to give myself about, I'd say 2 to 3 months to prep for a market, just because I am still in school. So I cannot always get everything done in a day. I can't always get at least a whole product done in a day. So I do need a lot of time to prep. So that's what some people would call a long time. But definitely give yourself enough time to prep because there's so many things to do for a market besides just the actual crocheting. First, I have for your second tip and the first tip for your setup is get fitted tablecloths. You don't want to have to worry about your tablecloths flying all around if it gets windy. They are just really the best. And if you put containers that you brought your products in underneath the table, and the table fitted cloth comes all the way down in the front, from looking at your booth from the front where people are seeing when they walk in your booth, you will not see your containers from underneath. So it just gives your booth a little bit of a cleaner look, along with being more practical, that if it's windy, your tablecloths are not blowing around at all. Third tip, and another for your setup, use tent weights. Lots of markets require that you use weights instead of stakes. I've been to a market that requires weights, and the weights are really easy to use too. Stakes can sometimes be a little bit harder to put in depending on the ground that you are working with at your market, because some places they have gravel ground, which is not always the easiest to get your stake to go in there. So definitely get some tent weights. They aren't super expensive, but that is definitely a good tip because lots of craft shows will require you to use tent weights instead of stakes. Next we have for number 4, I like to use clear bags to give my products once the people purchase them and buy them in bulk. You can buy them on Amazon in huge packs, like 50 packs, 100 packs, 200 packs. The numbers just keep going up from there. I say clear bags. Lots of people do paper bags. I did used to do that at first, but they were just really expensive. So I started using the clear bags. And not only are the clear bags cheaper if you're buying them specifically in large amounts, but the clear bags can be better because if someone purchased something from your booth and they have it in a clear bag and they're walking around the market or the craft fair or whatever event you are selling at, and you can see what that person bought. So someone could come up to that person and be like, "What is this? Where'd you get this from?" And then come over to your booth because they saw that cute thing, or see people walking just right down from your booth and be like, "Oh, I need to stop over there because that's really cute." So not only can it be a cheaper option, it is also a good option to give you a chance of more sales. Okay, next is multiple payment types. Make sure you have multiple options because some people have cash, some people have card, some people have Venmo or PayPal. I haven't had to use PayPal, but I always make sure I have cash, my card reader, and my Venmo ready for people to use. I put it in a little picture frame with the little QR code so people can just scan that. And I make sure it went through and you're good. But definitely make sure you have multiple payment types. I will say the least popular type of payment I have is Venmo. The least amount of people do that. Surprisingly, sometimes you will get a lot of purchases with cash. So if you have prices that aren't like numbers in 5s and 10s, make sure you get lots of ones because I have had many $12 items and I've almost ran out of ones to give for change. Along with payment types for number 6, you definitely want to get a square card reader. I think they're really, really, really useful. They work really well and they do not at all really eat away from your profit that much. I used to charge a small fee if you're using Square, but then I just didn't like having to tell people, oh, there's a fee. So I upped one of my prices on my most popular item by like $1. And because it was my most popular item, it was covering the amount that Square was taking away from me. So it's a really low percentage of what they take from your sales, which is honestly really, really, really worth it because then you can just transfer it straight to your bank account. So I think Square works really great. Next is number 7, another tip for your setup is try and add some height to your display. So one thing I use for height, if you've seen my markets before, I'll put a picture of one of my booths. So if you've seen these pictures before, or you're just seeing them right now, you can see I have a few things to add a little bit of height. So this picture was of my last market, and I had a little tier tray for bunnies because it was a spring market to add a little bit of height and to give you more room because it has multiple levels. You have more room for your products. And then I also had the little fruit stand, which was a little bit of a shorter thing, but it adds a little bit of character to your booth also along with height. But my main height was my bee honeycomb, and oh my gosh, the bee honeycombs and bees in general, people love them. Every single market I've done with bees so far, I have sold out of bees. So I definitely recommend doing that and getting the honeycomb if you can, because the honeycomb really helps people see the bees more because you're adding height to your thing, and it just makes it makes your display really cute. So now for number 8, my biggest tip is to keep majority of your products under about $20 because I find, at least for the markets I've done, if I have something over the price point of $20, I am less likely to sell out of that product. So all of my best sellers are under $20. My best seller bees is $15. My second best seller is whales, and they are $10, so on. These sell really well and they are $12. So typically I find at my markets, everything that is under $20 does better, just because some people, when they go to a market, they're looking at so many booths and they don't want to spend a crazy amount at one booth, especially if they have not seen the whole entire event yet, because there is always so many things to buy. But that is also just what I've seen from a reflection of my sales. I have not had many as much success with the products over $20. Some products with $30 are better, but I do try and keep everything in my booth under $50, because also I want to make sure I can make the most amount of products as possible while I'm prepping, and the things that would cost more than that would take me a long time to prep. And then for number 9 is use something to make sure you're taking track. I don't think I said that right. Keeping track of all of your sales and the stock you have. Keep a list of everything you had made before your market. I like to do is I like to use my notes app, and I like to also keep track while I'm making stuff. So I'll put like how many things I have made of this product out of this many, and this is the product, and this is what I'm going to price it at. And I have that going all the way down. And then I'll add a check mark at the end once I finish that, and I add up the amount of products I want to have in total and how many I have left and how many are completed so far. So that also helps me. And if you can, bring something that you can kind of keep a tally of what you've sold while you're there. Some people do wait till after the market to then see, but I do like to keep track while I'm there. I always make a little like sheet, and I add a tally every time I sell one of each item, and I have my own little categories and all. Okay, and my last one for you all is number 10, and that is be patient, because craft shows do have a lot of waves. So by waves, I mean like you'll have a large amount of people coming in all at the same time, and then there will be less people. It also depends on the event. If the event has a lot of food trucks and all, at lunch, if you're not a food truck, if you're doing crochet, you're probably not selling food also. So you will have less traffic at lunch probably, because the people are going to be going where there's food trucks, if there are food trucks at that event that you are at. Or just in general, you probably around a mealtime will have a little less traffic. Also, I find the end of craft shows, the last hour and a half, are typically very slow from the ones I've been at, which, I mean, yeah, the craft shows are very long. They're a long period of time, so there's going to be lots of slow periods. Sometimes in the very morning, the first half an hour or a little bit more can also be very slow, but you have definitely a lot of waves. You'll have a ton of customers all of a sudden, all at once, and then you'll have 0. So craft shows definitely go in waves. And sometimes it takes a little bit longer for people to start coming into the craft show. So do not get discouraged if you have not had a lot of people at your craft show, at your booth, within the first little bit of the time period you will be there. So that is all I have for you today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more like this or different videos, comment down below what you want to see, because I love making what you guys are all interested in. So yeah, bye. Make sure you follow all my social medias down below.